Deep in the heart of an ancient untouched forest lived a wise old man known only as the Seer. His wisdom was spoken of in whispers, for those who ventured into the forest to seek his counsel never returned the same. His hut, woven from the forest itself, was hidden beyond a maze of towering trees and shadowy paths that seemed to shift with every step. Only the truly desperate found him. One day, a man, overwhelmed by the loss of his family in a tragic accident, wandered into the forest. Grief weighed heavy on his soul, driving him to seek the Seer. Believing that only someone with immense wisdom could provide answers to the suffering that tore at him from within. After days of wandering through the dark, foreboding woods, the man found the Seer's hut. The air was thick with silence as the Seer, an old figure draped in tattered robes, sat outside the hut, eyes closed as if waiting. The man approached and fell to his knees before the Seer, his voice cracking with emotion. "Why?" he asked. "Why must I endure such suffering? Why did the ones I love have to die?" The Seer opened his eyes, glowing faintly in the dim light, and simply said, "Walk with me." The two ventured deeper into the forest. As they walked, the Seer pointed to the dying trees, the decaying plants, and the silence of the animals. "What do you see?" the Seer asked. "Death, decay, emptiness," the man replied, his voice hollow. The Seer nodded. "Yes, but look closer." Suddenly, as if the forest had come to life, the man noticed the smallest details. The way new saplings pushed through the rotting leaves, the faint movement of animals hidden in the undergrowth, the sound of water trickling beneath the earth. Life was there, thriving despite the darkness. It had simply been hidden from his grieving eyes. The Seer spoke again, his voice as ancient as the trees around them. "Suffering is like this forest. It can cloud your vision, drown you in its shadows, and make you believe that all is lost. But life, hope, and meaning are still there, waiting to be found. You must choose to see it." The man felt a shift deep inside him, but the Seer was not done. They reached the edge of the cliff, overlooking a vast chasm. The Seer gestured for the man to follow him to the very edge. Fear gripped the man's heart, but he obeyed. The Seer pointed to a narrow, seemingly invisible path that stretched across the chasm. "Cross it," the Seer commanded. The man hesitated. The path was barely visible, jagged and treacherous. One wrong step would send him plummeting to his death. "I can't," the man stammered, panic rising in his throat. The Seer looked at him, eyes piercing. "This is the path you must walk. It is not about what you have lost, but what you still have. Fear, doubt, and suffering cloud your way, but the path is always there. Will you walk it?" Trembling, the man took a deep breath and stepped forward. With every step, the path beneath him seemed to grow clearer, stronger, as if his resolve was forging it into existence. His heart pounded with fear, but something else stirred inside him. Hope. When he reached the other side, the man collapsed, overwhelmed. The Seer stood beside him, silent. I made it," the man gasped, tears streaming down his face. The Seer placed a hand on his shoulder and spoke softly. "The path was always there. You only needed to believe it." The man left the forest, forever changed. He still carried the pain of his loss, but now he understood. Suffering was not the end, but a part of the journey. The unseen path would always be there, waiting for him to find it again. The Seer, once again alone in the forest, smiled faintly, for he knew that the hardest wisdom to accept was always the simplest. Suffering blinds us, but there is always a path to healing and hope. Sometimes all we need is the courage to take the first step.